Hello students, I am Dr. Kiran Rakibe from the Department of English, Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samajaj, Srimati Vimlaben Khimji Tejukaya, Arts, Science and Commerce College, Devali Camp, Nasik. In today's session, we are going to discuss one of the poems that has been prescribed at your SYBA Special English Paper 2. Before we start with the poem, let us see what we had seen in the previous class. Students, in the previous lecture, we talked about the difference between prose and poetry. We also talked about poetry as a literary genre. After that, we discussed some features of English poetry. And then we talked about the language of poetry, how language of poetry differs from the prose version. Now, let us see what we are going to discuss in today's session. In today's lecture, we are going to talk about monologue as a type of poetry. After that, we are going to discuss some of the features of dramatic monologue in general, and then after talking about it, we are going to discuss Browning as a Victorian poet, and after that we are going to recite the poem My Last Duchess. Now let us see some of the learning objectives of today's session. What you are supposed to achieve after the end of today's lecture. At the end of today's class, you will be able to understand the concept of a dramatic poet. After that, you will be able to understand the characteristics of dramatic monologue. What are the characteristic features of dramatic monologue? You will also be able to understand how to recite a poem with proper stress and intonation pattern. Now, let us begin with the concept of dramatic monologue. What is a dramatic monologue? Now, if you look at the definition of dramatic monologue, dramatic means the poem is dramatic in the sense that it has a theatrical quality. That is to say, the poem is meant to be read aloud. As far as dramatic poem is concerned, such type of poetry are meant to be sung aloud. Such kind of poetry can be presented on a stage like a drama. That is why such poems are called as dramatic. So, just like a drama, it has a kind of characterization and it has a presentation. So, monologue. Now, after dramatic, let us see the meaning of monologue. The word monologue is made up of two words, mono and log. Mono means single and log means discourse or a speech. So, in short, monologue is a speech spoken by a single person. And that is to say, dramatic monologue is a kind of poem in which the speaker is a single speaker and it is a speech by a single person. Let us see the definition of dramatic monologue in detail. Now, what is the definition of dramatic monologue? A dramatic monologue is a type of verse in which there is one speaker and one or more listeners, and sometimes imaginary. Dramatic monologue, a type of verse, it's a poem in which there is one speaker. The speaker, there is a single speaker who goes on talking, who goes on speaking, and there can be one or more listeners, and sometimes the listeners are imaginary. The speaker assumes some of the listeners in front of him and he goes on talking. And when he goes on talking, the listeners are not supposed to respond him. So the listeners are passive listeners. Now, after talking about the definition of a dramatic monologue, let us see the difference between soliloquy and monologue, because these two terms, soliloquy and monologue, they are very similar to each other. Now, what is a soliloquy? A soliloquy It expresses a private thoughts of the speaker and it has no listeners. The speaker talks to himself or herself. In a soliloquy, which are usually used in a play, in a drama, where the speaker of a soliloquy expresses his or her private thoughts. The inner thoughts of the speakers are revealed by the speaker and there are no listeners. That is to say, soliloquies are meant for the audience. The audience must be able to understand what is happening in the mind of the speaker or in the mind of the character. The character, in order to make his audience understand his feelings and thoughts, he goes on talking aloud and there are no listeners. So listeners are the audience. Audience, in a sense, they are not actually the listeners, they are just meant for understanding the inner feelings and thoughts. Whereas in a monologue, apart from the speaker, there is either a listener or listeners who does not respond verbally. In a soliloquy, there are no listeners on the stage. In a monologue, apart from the speaker, either there is a listener or sometimes there are more than one listener. Maybe sometimes there are the imaginary listeners. The speaker imagines some listeners in front of him and he goes on talking. But the most importantly, the listeners do not respond verbally to the speaker. This is the difference between soliloquy and monologue. Why understanding this difference is very important? Because both these terms, both these concepts are very close to each other as far as meanings are concerned, since in both there are the speakers, but the difference is that in soliloquy there is no listener, whereas in a monologue there is a listener, even if the listener does not respond verbally. Now, let us see some of the characteristics of dramatic monologue in detail. Now, in a dramatic monologue, there is a single speaker. As we have already seen the definition, in a poem, in a dramatic poem, in a dramatic monologue, there is one single speaker, one character who goes on talking, single person, single character who goes on talking to someone, the listeners. Then there is a listener or sometimes there are listeners. As I have already explained to you, sometimes there are no listeners, but there are some imaginary listeners which are understood by the speaker when he goes on talking to someone else. So a single speaker and some listeners are there. Now, in a dramatic monologue, the poet presents a dramatic situation. Now, just as in a drama, just as in a play, we have a particular situation in which there is a characterization, there is a climax, and so on. Like a drama, a particular dramatic situation is presented by the poet, and through that situation, there is the revelation of characters. So, the poem has the character, the main character, either the speaker or the listener or the person about whom the speaker is talking on the stage or talking with that listener goes on revealing the character of someone else, and that character has heroic qualities. Either the speaker or the listener or the character about whom the speaker is talking, whoever it may be, it has heroic qualities like a hero. Now, like a drama or like a play, the poem had some conflict. There is a conflict between characters. Sometimes there is a conflict between some situations. So, situational conflict is presented by the speaker through his speech. Now, as I have already mentioned, when the speaker goes on talking, during his speech, during his talk, the speaker reveals the character. The character of the speaker himself or herself, sometimes the character of the listener, the character of the person with whom he is talking, or sometimes third person about whom the speaker is talking. So, revelation of characters is one of the most important features of a dramatic monologue. Now, before we discuss the poem in detail, let us discuss or let us apply those features. Let us see how the features of dramatic monologue can be applied to the poem My Last Duchess. Now, in the poem My Last Duchess, which is a poem by Robert Browning, is one of the best examples of dramatic monologue. Now, here in this poem, there is a single speaker. Now, who is the speaker? The Duke of Ferrara. The Duke of Ferrara is the speaker who goes on talking to someone else. So, one of the first features of dramatic monologue, as I have already talked about, is the poem has a single speaker. In My Last Duchess, the single speaker is the Duke of Ferrara. Now, who is the listener in the poem? As I have already told you, the listener here is an emissary, the messenger whose master's daughter the Duke is likely to marry. He is the listener. Now, what is the dramatic situation presented in the poem My Last Duchess? Now, the dramatic situation is that it is a visit by the envoy. It is the visit by the messenger of the neighboring state, whose master's daughter the Duke is likely to marry. The negotiations, a kind of negotiations are going on between the Duke and the master of the envoy who has visited the Duke. Now, the heroic qualities, one of the features of dramatic monologue is that it has heroic qualities. So, the poem is written in heroic couplets. Two couplets, two poems rhyme with each other, and it has heroic. The poem is written with the heroic couplet. The conflict, the Duke's versus Duchess's behavior. The conflict presented in the poem is that the speaker is the Duke and he is talking about his Duchess, about his wife, and there is a conflict between the Duke's and the kind of behavior the Duchess has. The kind of behavior Duchess is having towards the Duke, that is presented throughout the poem. Now, the revelation of characters is another feature of dramatic monologue. In this poem, when the Duke of Ferrara is talking to the envoy, during his talk, he reveals his own character as well as that of Duchess's character. Through the speech only, we come to know that the Duke is a very egoist person, he is a very greedy person, he is a very suspicious person. He does not tell it us, but through the speech, we come to know that he is a very egoist or greedy or suspicious kind of person. At the same time, when he is talking about the Duchess, when he is talking about his own wife who is no more, we come to know that she had a kind of nature which was not accepted by the Duke. She was very friendly, over friendly. She had a kind of flirtatious nature. That's what we come to know about her character through the speech of the Duke. So, these were the features of dramatic monologue which can be applied to the poem which we are going to study, that is the My Last Duchess. Now, before we discuss the poem in detail, let us read out the poem aloud. So, reading the poem in a proper way, because as I have already told you, the dramatic monologues are not meant for silent reading, they are meant for loud reading. If you read the poem with proper accent and intonation, then you will enjoy the poem more and more. So, let us read the poem aloud. Before I read the poem, before we start reading the poem, let me tell you the situation. The situation of the poem is that the envoy has visited the Duke, and the Duke is showing the portrait of his last Duchess. His wife, who is no more, he is showing that huge portrait to that messenger, and during that situation, he goes on talking about his wife, his Duchess. So here we start reading the poem. That's my last Duchess painted on the wall, looking as if she were alive. I call that piece a wonder. Now, Fra Pandolf's hands worked busily a day, and there she stands. Wilt please you sit and look at her? I said, Fra Pandolf by design, for never read strangers like you that pictured countenance, the depth and passion of its earnest glance. But to myself they turned, since none puts by the curtain I have drawn for you but I, and seemed as they would ask me if they trust, how such a glance came there. So, not the first are you to turn and ask thus. Sir, it was not her husband's presence only called that spot of joy into the Duchess's cheeks. Perhaps Fra Pandolf chanced to say, her mantle laps over my lady's wrist too much, or paint must never hope to reproduce the faint half flush that dies along her throat. Such stuff was courtesy, she thought, and cause enough for calling up that spot of joy. She had a heart. How shall I say? Too soon made glad, too easily impressed. She liked whatever she looked on, and her looks went everywhere. Sir, it was all one. My favor at her breast, the dropping of the delight in the west, the bow of cherries some official fool broke in the orchard for her, the white mule she rode with round the terrace, all and each would draw from her alike the approving speech, or blush at least. She thanked men. Good. But thanked somehow? I know not how. As if she ranked my gift of 900 years old name with anybody's gift. Who would stoop to blame this sort of trifling? Even had you skill in speech, which I have not, to make your bill quite clear to such an one and say, just this, that in you disgusts me. Here you miss or there exceed the mark. And if she let herself be lessoned so, nor plainly set her wits to yours, forsooth, and made excuse, even then would be some stooping, and I choose never to stop. Oh, sir, she smiled, no doubt, whenever I passed her. But who passed without much the same smile? This grew. I gave commands, then all smiles stopped together. There she stands, as if alive. Wilt please you rise? We will meet the company below then. I repeat, the Count, your master's known munificence is ample warrant that no just pretence of mine for dowry will be disallowed, though his fair daughter's self, as I owed at starting, is my object. Nay, we will go together down, sir. Notice Neptune, though taming a seahorse, thought a rarity, which Claus of Innsbruck cast in bronze for me. So, this is the way we need to read the poem, which is called as dramatic monologue. Now, if you read a poem with proper accent and intonation, with the feeling of the character, you come to know that you understand the poem in better way, and we feel the poem, we feel the character which is speaking over there. So here the Duke was talking to the envoy, and when he is talking to him, he goes on revealing the past or the history of his relation with the Duchess. And we also come to know that the Duchess is no more. It is the portrait which he is showing to the messenger, and he also reveals the reason behind her death. We also come to know that it is the Duke himself who is responsible for the death of the Duchess. In short, it is also a kind of warning to the new Duchess, that is his wife's, his master's daughter with whom he is likely to marry. After this, let us see what we have seen so far in today's session. Now, in today's session, we talked about Browning as the originator of the form of dramatic monologue. It was Robert Browning who originated dramatic monologue as a type of poetry. He was the first person to write such kind of poetry. We have also discussed the features of dramatic monologue. What are the characteristics feature of dramatic monologue? Then we also tried to apply those features or those characteristics of dramatic monologue to the poem My Last Duchess. And then towards the end of the session, we recited the poem aloud, and we also come to know that if the poem is read in a proper way with the feel, then it can be understood, it can be enjoyed in a better way. So on the basis of today's discussion, let us have some of the session assignment. Students, on the basis of this discussion, you are supposed to answer 2 questions. Now, after writing the answers, mail these answers on my mail ID, that is kiranrakibe1575@gmail.com. Now, what are the assignments? Number 1, first question is that what are the features of dramatic monologue? Here you are supposed to write the general features of dramatic monologue. And the second question is discuss My Last Duchess as a dramatic monologue. What you are supposed to do here, try to apply those features which we have discussed so far to the poem My Last Duchess. Thank you very much.